right, so welcome back, everybody. This week I have Don Applegate from Tritech Industries to talk about some airless sprayers. We got connected up on I believe it was LinkedIn, and sent me some spray tips. And man, I've just been laying out some glass with some water base with your all stuff. It's awesome, man. I mean, pretty much everything I shoot looks like a sheet of glass. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm excited to share what you guys have to offer to my listeners, and maybe we can help some people out. So welcome aboard.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks, Eric. I've seen plenty of your pictures on Instagram and Facebook. They certainly do look fantastic. We appreciate all the love you're giving us.
Oh yeah, not a problem, man. I can't really there's nothing magical that I'm doing to make it look better than it is. It's just the way it's coming out. So well, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Tritech and what you guys do, and kind of how you guys work?
Sure, yeah. Tritech's a pretty young company in the grand scheme of things. In 2005, it was really born within this group of manufacturing companies, award-winning manufacturing companies, actually, that really specializes in precision machining for the industrial, aerospace, and military segments. So really, really high-end components is what they really specialize in, and that's really where that precision machining is really where Tritech really benefits. So around 2005, we actually started the first process. The first step was developing the tips. So we actually brought in a retired metallurgist that actually worked with us to develop our own proprietary patented tungsten carbide. Most tungsten carbides in the market that you see have a Rockwell hardness of around upper 60s, 60, 65 to 70. Diamond, for reference, is 100 on that Rockwell hardness scale. So we've actually reformulated our tungsten carbide, so it actually has a Rockwell hardness of 93. So when you see in the packaging, you see that you see the T93 on the packaging. That actually kind of denotes the tungsten carbide Rockwell hardness of 93. So far harder than any other tungsten carbide out there. So what it does is it actually allows us to do in the machining part of it, allows us a little bit more capabilities on that, and it helps the tips just wear better. Hold their pattern for a longer time than what the normal airless tips do. Obviously, you're sending a lot of paint through there at high pressures, so that orifice is just going to naturally degrade, and that's where you get the shrinking of the pattern. The pattern kind of doesn't get quite as elongated, starts to narrow down a little bit. So that really kind of set us apart first back then when we developed that. Started to kind of get some pull through with the tips. And then we started the long process of developing guns and pumps, much longer process with developing the pumps. And we knew that when we were going to jump into this arena, that we had to be something different. We had to do something different. We couldn't just come out with Me Too pumps and equipment. We would just never survive. It's a pretty mature market, or mature product category by some industry giants. So we just never would have survived. So we kind of took that precision machining approach and the experience of combined 100 years of a sales and engineering force in the spray equipment industry, and developed through innovation and technology a piece of equipment that really performs highly in those product categories, and really outperforms a lot of the other products that you see out there on the market. And so when guys buy a piece of Tritech equipment, they're getting high quality materials. They're getting a reliable machine, a durable machine that's going to last for a long time, and a really high performing machine as well. So it's pretty cool.
Let's talk a little bit about the spray systems that you have in particular. So I don't know, maybe kind of go down for for some, like a small shop, something portable, talk about what you got there, and then kind of move up the ladder of what you guys have.
Sure. So within the systems, we have all airless equipment. We don't do any air-assisted airless or HVLP or anything like that. So it's all airless type systems. When we were developing this system, when we were developing an airless, one challenge that we needed to overcome, or that we wanted our engineers to overcome, is the piston-operated airless spray equipment always had one big challenge, that it didn't operate well at low ends of the pressure spectrum that a lot of you guys work within. It was really just the technologies just did not have the technology just really wasn't there to control those pressures. So you would see what a lot of guys call winking of the spray pattern.
Yeah.
that spray pattern going, or because of that piston going up and down, and the electronic part of it couldn't control it very well. So that was really the first thing that we attacked. It was we need to fix this. We need to come up with a way to fix this. So it took a long time, but we developed a microprocessor that really controls that spray pattern and those spray pressures across all pressure settings, across all tips, even at your lower pressure settings, so that you don't have that winking in the spray pattern, so that you have a consistent pattern, every time, no matter what tip size that you use. So we really attacked that and did a really good job with that. And you're seeing guys out there spraying. Actually, the Malaysia product, a guy in Colorado was just telling us, Monty Perez. I don't know if you know Monty at all, but he sprays with our T4, our T5, one of the two, at 1100 psi. So he gets really low with an 0.8 tip. Pretty phenomenal out of an airless system that you can get that consistent spray pattern. As far as sprayers, we go from a 0.67 gallon a minute sprayer up to a 1.17 gallon a minute sprayer. So we get a good range, and research and development is always in the works. So we're always developing and working on newer pumps as well to bring to our platform. As far as configurations, you have the stand mount that we can actually do in multiple size pumps. So just the little 4-legged hand carry, pump, you can get that configuration. And you can get a high cart system where you actually have, the cart is sitting up high and it's got the long solid tube that comes down, and a 2-wheel cart. And then some guys actually like a low cart variation of that as well, where the pump is still on a cart, but it's actually in a low mounted position where you don't have the steel intake tube, but you actually have a flexible hose tube. So it kind of gives you that portability with the wheels and moving it around. But some guys don't like to have to tip back the entire pump to put in a new bucket.
Yeah.
So it gives that portability, but then it also gives you the flexibility of, ease of use of putting a new 5 underneath the intake tube. As far as you guys are concerned, we also have hopper. So, a 2-gallon hopper setup that you can attach to most any pump that we have, which really makes it nice for you guys that are just spraying a gallon or 2 gallons at a time, and you don't have to fill up that entire tube, intake tube with fluid or coating, I should say, and to charge the system. You just got that 2-gallon hopper, a really short tube that goes into the pump manifold, and then you're off and running. And we kind of couple that with a 25-foot of 3/16 hose. So you got a lot less, coating actually filling that hose as well. So easier cleanup, less coatings for small jobs. So a lot easier.
Yeah, that's kind of what I use. And the reason I use it is because I'm shooting some of the 2K, and so you can mix up whatever you need, and you don't have a lot of waste. When you go with the siphon fed, it takes a lot more. It usually it's about a quart. What's the smallest size hose? Because that's one of the things that the guys like, those smaller hose. Even myself, I like those smaller hose. Can you go below a 3/16, or is that the smallest? Because I know with some of the other units on the market, they don't even recommend you go to a 25-foot hose. It messes with the pressures or something.
Yeah, and so that's really where I was talking about our pressure control system. Precision control. That's really where that system actually does such a great job monitoring the pressures that we don't have to worry about that too much. So we can go to a 25-foot. So we actually sell it in that configuration. So it's not a problem at all to go to a 25-foot 3/16 hose. And then if for ease of use, if you want to go down to a whip hose of a 1/4 inch, for inside cabinets for a little bit more flexibility, you have that freedom to do that as well.
And the unit numbers or whatever, so you have a T5 and a T6, is that right?
Yeah, so it goes T4, which is a 0.57, then you go up to a T5, 0.67. T7 is going to be 0.77 gallons a minute. We are coming out with a T8 here in the next, actually it's in production process right now, so that'll be out. And then we have a T9 that's going to get you just over a gallon a minute, 1.05, and then a T11 that gets you up into the bigger boys, the 1.17 gallon a minute pump.
Yeah. So for some guys that don't know out there, so what does that really equate to? Like when you're looking to buy a system, like why would you choose a higher gallon per minute? Is that just you want to shoot faster, or what would be the reason why I would choose a T9 versus a T5?
So I guess a lot of your follow industry, you're probably not going to need a T9 or a T11. You don't need anything that's going to that gallon a minute, system. Those are guys that are doing, large commercial projects, architectural finishes on walls,
Okay.
block fillers, dry fall and seal, stuff like that, where they just really need a high production pump that's going to move a lot of gallons, in a short amount of time. Most of you guys, your T5 is really going to be a unit that's going to get a lot of stuff done for you. 0.67 gallons a minute. That's going to do a lot of your house projects as well. Repaint, painting the new house even, where you're just maybe shooting out 40, 50 gallons, at a time, on an interior architectural finish. Or, you have the flexibility to put a hopper on that thing and do 2 gallons, of catalyzed product. So it's got some real flexibility in there, and it still has the precision motor control as well, to control those pressures across all of our systems, actually.
Gotcha. And I want to go back to that for a second, because that's one of the things that a lot of guys get turned off on is that winking. So with your system, are you getting like basically like constant pressure even when that piston's going up and down? You don't see that. Like I know with like some of the other systems out there, it drives me crazy. You're like in the middle of spraying something, and that can be like a problem in the fine finishing. Not so much like if you're spraying a wall or something like that. It's not as big of a deal. But for what we're doing, we need that constant pressure all the time. So basically, that computer system is making up for that, and you're getting constant pressure like you would with like a diaphragm or something like that.
Absolutely. So it's precision motor control, micro. That is actually through the transducer is actually just monitoring all the pressures in the fluid system, and actually it can actually, for lack of better words, and I can sense your back pressure, because your different size tips have, and how you're pulling the trigger is going to give different back pressure in that system as well, and it just works through that electric motor and controls that motor speed. And then inside the fluid manifold section, because of everything is so precise and so much precision and balance in that fluid section where the piston is at, the upper and lower chambers in such harmony, I guess you would say, that when you kind of couple all those systems together, you just don't get that winking. It's just everything is so efficient with every stroke of the piston that and then you couple in the precision motor control, it all works together in harmony and just have a really good consistent spray pattern at those low pressures. So
Awesome.
It's really, it was really a game changer for us when we was able to accomplish that and really set us apart in the industry.
Yeah, awesome. Talk about your guns and your tips. So I've got this is the T380.
Yeah.
Talk about the difference between, you got a couple different guns and the technology behind those. And then also one thing I really like about, these guns are, man, they're solid, like super nice gun, and they're lightweight at the same time. They're not, and you'd think, oh man, that's going to be like a boat anchor, but it's like really, really light. And I like the fact that you guys have I'll spin it out. The different size mesh filters. Some of the companies out there, you can only have like a 60 mesh in it or 100 mesh, and I think yours guys goes up to 150. Is that right?
Yeah, you can go to 150 for your clears. You wouldn't want to use 150 pigmented typically, just because that size gets pretty darn small to be pushing pigmented coatings through it with higher solids. But 100 is going to be probably the tip mesh that you're going to use. But yeah, and then we go down to a 50 mesh as well if you're spraying even heavier coatings.
Yeah.
That gun, actually all of our guns, that gun that you're holding there, the T380, that's just like all of our guns, it's all aircraft grade aluminum, all high end aluminum, just like our manifold. And our manifold system it's aircraft grade aluminum as there as well. Internals is going to be stainless steel and tungsten carbide seat. The spring is actually located outside of the fluid flow, so you don't have to, the older guns, you used to always have to clean those springs out super good. They would always get caked up, but that's all located outside the fluid flow. So you probably noticed nice even trigger pull. The trigger feels nice in your hand. And then that T380's got a nice contoured fit. So for guys that are spraying all day long, there's not a lot of hand fatigue. It just feels good in the hand, and it sprays really nicely all day long. Positive shut off, so you get a really good shut off with that gun as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute because everyone always complains about airless gun spitting.
Mhm.
um, and I've seen, some of them are worse than others, and a lot of it has to do with what you're talking about, that where that spring is located. A lot of them, like you said, the spring is back in here, and it
Mhm.
gets even though you're cleaning your gun, it still gets built up, and you have to take the thing apart and really clean that out, and that'll help a lot of time. Talk about how do your guys' guns do against like the whole spitting, issue?
They do well, but I mean, I think you kind of hit it, to begin with, Eric, is really cleanliness, because it doesn't take much. If guys are not cleaning out all their filters really well and cleaning out lines, really well after the job, it doesn't take much for, a chunk of paint to get through a filter or pass through a filter and then get stuck on the end of that seat, when that's where some spitting is going to happen. The other spitting kind of happens a little bit actually after that seat. So if you take off the base of that gun, your guard, there's a little bit of space in there between what's called the diffuser, the flat end of the gun, where it sits, and the back seal of the guard. So there's a little bit of space in there, and you'll just naturally get some spit out of that little area there, where it's really not a gun issue. It's just a function that there's always just a little bit of paint in there under a little bit of pressure that doesn't get shut off. That's where guys, I guess best practice is always going to be trigger on before the edge, and then trigger off after you get past the edge.
Sure.
That way, if that little bit of speck comes out, then you're already off your surface or substrate, and it's not affected.
So much for coming on and doing this. I look forward to having you again on here. And so what is the way that people can get a hold of you and Tritech? I know you guys have jumped on some social media. I see you over on Instagram. You're on LinkedIn, and are you guys on Facebook as well?
Facebook as well. So just Tritech Industries on Facebook and Instagram. And certainly you can shoot me an email if anybody has any questions, just at D as in Don Applegate at tritechindustries.com. Or shoot a message certainly through this, and I'll reach out to you.
Yeah. And so I just tag you in when someone asks a question. I was like, just get with Don. He'll hook you up.
I appreciate that, Eric. Thanks a lot. You've hooked me quite a few people, so it's been good.
Nice. Where is your all's distribution? Do you guys? I mean, I didn't know there's a place here, Farrell Calhoun here in Nashville that sells Tritech stuff. What's the best way to find that out? Can you just go to your website and look for distributors?
Yeah, just shoot me an email, or reach out to me. Direct message me through Facebook or whatever. Direct messages through Instagram, and we'll shoot you some. Shoot you different locations and dealers that we have throughout the country, and actually even overseas. So we actually do quite a bit overseas as well, whether it's in Europe, UK, South America, Central America, Mexico. Actually a little bit in Korea. We actually do Australia. So we're actually shipping product all over the world at this point. So we got dealers all over the place.
You guys are going to have availability in Canada pretty soon as well, or you already do?
Yeah, we already do a little bit. Stefan will be, expanding that. So I think he likes everything right now and everything that you've done, and shown him that you're able to do with our ultra finish tips in his coating. So I think he's pretty sold on the system right now. Now he's just playing with it a little bit more, and then he's going to start sending it out for distribution. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, he's a great guy, man. Love Stefan. They got some really nice coatings too. I got a job. I just talked to him today, big job, and I'm going to run all his stuff on it. It's going to be pretty cool. So you guys will be seeing some of that with the Envirolac laying it out like glass with Tritech.
It's going to look great.
Yeah. I kind of feel like a broken record at this point, but I don't know,
We don't mind, so you can keep it going.
All right, cool, man. As long as y'all are cool and people aren't like, I wish he would shut up. So, well, hey, man, thanks again for coming on. I always love to have different companies and things that can help guys out there that are in the field. And I'm really excited to see what you guys continue to do and keep using your all's equipment. I feel like you guys fit really well with our industry because you got, a lot of us aren't like huge shops, and you guys seem to really connect with the smaller guys and, listening and taking feedback and that. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Obviously, we kind of view ourselves as a young, small shop as well. Almost like a craft brewery, right? We're just,
Yeah.
we're specializing in a high quality product, and that's really going to last and be durable for you, and do a nice job for you. So we really connect with you with this, with your, with the young guys and, the small guys, the small shops, the small independent shops. So we really appreciate all the business.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right, man. Well, we'll guys catch you next week. And again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Eric. Appreciate it.